Hello everyone, a very good afternoon. Dear authors and invited guests, welcome to the technical session 6E. Myself Prashi, and this session will be moderated by me. On behalf of Global Knowledge Research Foundation and GR Scholastics LLP, it is my great pleasure to welcome you to the 9th International Conference on Smart Trends in Computing and Communications, SMARTCOM 2025, Pune, India. The 9th edition of this conference is being held in a hybrid mode. The physical event was held yesterday in Pune, India, and the virtual event is being held through Zoom today and tomorrow, that is 30th and 31st of January 2025. I hope you will enjoy the knowledgeable and interactive session throughout the day. In this session, we will have 10 presentations. Each presenter will be given 8 minutes for the presentation and 2 minutes for question and answer. Please note that on the 7th minute, I will be raising a reminder. There is another request to all the participants that you have to stay connected with us till the closing remarks. If you have any update or query, then you can write it to me in the chat box given below. Just before we start the session, I would like to introduce you all to the chairs for this session. Dr. Jitendra Bhatia. Professor Jitendra Bhatia is currently an associate professor at Nirma University, Ahmedabad, India. He has more than 16 years of teaching experience at undergraduate and postgraduate level. He has published, presented a number of papers at reputed international and national level journals and conferences. His main research interests include protocol design for intelligent transportation systems, software-defined networking, vascular networks, and cloud computing. And the second session chair for the afternoon is Dr. Disha S. Wankhede, who is currently an assistant professor, Vishwakarma Institute of Information Technology, Pune, India. She has 16 years of teaching experience. Her skills and expertise lies in machine learning, computer vision, artificial intelligence. Her research area includes deep learning and image processing in healthcare and agriculture domain. We welcome you to the session, sir and ma'am. Would you like to say anything before the presenters begin with their presentation, ma'am?
No, from the best wishes from my side, and we'll definitely conclude the session.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Now, with the respect, I will start with the presentations. Our first presenter for the afternoon will be Mumtaz Begum M, presenting a paper on the title A Hybrid Framework for Short Text Similarity Detection by Integrity Semantic and Syntactic Measures. If you're available, I request you to kindly take over the presentation, please. Ma'am Mumtaz Begum. Are you there? I can see, ma'am, you're available on the chat. Would you like to start with your presentation? All right. As ma'am is not responding due to some issues, let's take up the next presenter for the afternoon.
Hi, ma'am.
Okay, you're present. Okay.
Ma'am, I will start with seconds, please.
Okay, ma'am. Your presentation is ready with you?
Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
Can you see the slides?
Yes, ma'am, it is available.
Okay.
Hello. Can I start?
Yes, ma'am, please start with the presentation.
Okay. I'm Rasina. Uh, Good afternoon to everyone. I am Rasina Bibi from Department of Computer Science, University of Kerala. Today I am here to discuss my work titled A Hybrid Framework for Shorter Similarity Detection by Integrating Semantic and Syntactic Measures. Okay, this is the overview of the work, introduction, related work, proposed methodology, result and discussion, conclusion, and references. Next, we move on to introduction part. Next, we move on to introduction part. Text similarity is a fundamental task in natural language processing, crucial for applications such as paraphrase detection, search recommendation, query response system, and language translation. The term text similarity refers to evaluating the degree of resemblance between sentences, phrases, or textual fragments in terms of their semantic meaning or context structure. Conventional method for text similarity often relied on manually crafted features and shallow representation, limiting their capability to capture the intrinsic norms of language. To address this issue or challenge, our research integrates semantic and syntactic similarity measure, providing a more comprehensive and accurate framework for text similarity detection. Semantic similarity evaluates the meaning and context of text using advanced pre-trained language model like BERT, while syntactic similarity focuses on text structure through a parse tree and tree-edit distance. By combining these two dimensions, our approach captures both the meaning and structure of sentence, enhancing the ability to discern textual similarities in a wide range of applications. The proposed work aimed to develop a comprehensive system for comparing sentence pair by integrating both semantic and syntactic similarity measures. The proposed approach for text similarity tasks are evaluated on two prominent datasets, that is STS benchmark and SIG. These are the related work here. Then we move on to overview of proposed methodology. The proposed system integrates both semantic and syntactic measure to provide a robust evaluation of short text similarity. It consists of two main modules, semantic similarity module and syntactic similarity module. These modules are combined into an integrated text similarity framework to compute a weighted similarity score. The methodology enhances precision and robustness for applications like paraphrase detection, question answering, and summarization. Next, we move on to proposed methodology semantic similarity module. Built using angle embedding model, which generate contextualized embedding. The semantic module comprises embedding layer, transformer encoder layer, output layer. Embedding layer convert input token into dense fixed dimension vector encapsulating semantic information. Transformer encoder layer utilizes attention mechanism and feed forward network to refine contextual representation of token. Next, output layer. Apply pooling strategies to consolidate token embedding into fixed size vectors. Next, optimize three objectives: cosine objective, inverse negative objective, angular objective. Cosine objective enhances similarity for semantically related pair and decreases it for dissimilar pair. And inverse negative objective improve model performance using negative sample within batches. And last, angular objective optimize angle differences in a complex space to address saturation issues in cosine similarity. Next, proposed methodology syntactic similarity module. Employ the weighted tree-edit distance method. Tree-edit distance access structural difference between constituency parse tree of sentences. Calculate transformation cost such as insertion, deletion, substitution using dynamic programming. Custom wait for edit operation allow fine-grained assessment of structural differences. The final costs reflect the degree of similarity or differences between the trees. Next, the proposed methodology, integrated text similarity framework. Combine semantic and syntactic similarity module to compute the overall similarity score. Here is the equation of integrated text similarity framework. Here, the theta is set to be 0.85, prioritizing semantic similarity while considering syntactic alignment. This integrated framework provides a comprehensive evaluation of short-test similarity. This is our architecture of proposed approach. Next, we move on to result and discussion. Here we use two prominent datasets, namely STS benchmark and SIG. Here is the statistics of STSB and SIG. Here we use a evaluation matrix called Pearson correlation coefficient, PCC. Next, result on STSB and SIG corpora. Our approach demonstrates a strong Pearson correlation coefficient of 89.20 on STS benchmark and 88.93 on SIG. The robust correlation highlights the model proficiency in capturing both subtle and significant patterns within the data, showcasing its effectiveness in evaluating both semantic and syntactic relationship between sentences. The high correlation coefficient revealed that our model excels not only in interpreting sentence meaning but also in understanding structural characteristics. Compared with traditional and GCN model, our approach effectively combines semantic and syntactic similarity measure, demonstrating its robustness in evaluating shortness similarity. This is the result on STS benchmark and SIG corpora. This is the PCC of STSB and PCC of SIG. Then conclusion. This work focuses on text similarity detection, aiming to... Sorry, there is another slide in above. Comparison with the baseline approaches. Here we have compare our model with another model. These are the results here. We have 89.20 on STSB dataset and 88.93 on SIG datasets. Next, we move on to conclusion. This work focuses on text similarity detection, aiming to determine the equivalence of meaning in provided sentence pair. This approach considers both semantic and syntactic measure of similarity. The proposed approaches enhance the efficiency of text similarity detection model by significantly improving performance and demonstrating the benefit of integrating two-dimensional text analysis. The two publicly available datasets, STS benchmark and SIG, demonstrate the superiority of proposed approaches over baseline model, as evidenced by improved quantitative measure. These are the references used. Then, thank you. Hello.
Yes, very nice presentation, Rasina, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I have one question, one or two questions. That's all. So you have everything is already explained very nicely. So can you just know that how your hybrid framework be extend this multilingual text similarity detection?
Hello, ma'am.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes, ma'am. Can you repeat once again?
How your hybrid framework will extend this multilingual text similarity detection
Ma'am,
rather than your yeah.
Ma'am, the hybrid framework for short-text similarity detection by integrating the semantic and syntactic features. A sentence have which have semantic and syntactic features. Semantic means meaning-based features, and syntactic means structural-based features. We integrate in both in a framework. which means here we have integrated framework. We incorporate both semantic and syntactic features here.
So in future, we can just add this multilingual text similarity, right?
Yes.
Okay. Any advantages based on your angle embedding method or your traditional word to wake or some that sentence transformer, right? So any advantages over that existing embedding technique, your angle
Yes, ma'am.
embedding?
Yes, ma'am. Compared to the BERT, pre-trained language model, the angle method, which is optimized method for text similarity.
Okay.
Here we have used optimization technique for this. We can get accurate result of similarity score.
Okay. Okay, fine.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you
Yeah,
so much for
next.
presenting, ma'am. Now we'll take up on the next presenter. Our next presenter is Suhail Manzoor, presenting on the paper titled Review of Stress in Plants. So if you're available, I request you to kindly take over the presentation, please. Sir Suhail Manzoor. Looks like the presenter is not available with us. Yes, sir.
Actually, he is hospitalized. He is not able to give presentation on his behalf. I am giving presentation.
Okay, sir. So you'll take over the presentation now, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I'll just stop presenting. I request you to kindly take over the presentation. Thank you.
Okay,
Going
thank you,
forward.
ma'am. So, good afternoon, everyone. Today, I am presenting a review on stress in plants. This research explores different types of plant stress, their effect, and how modern technologies like machine learning can help detect and manage stress in plants. So, like humans, plants also experience stress due to various factors. These stress can affect their growth, yield, and survival. Understanding plant stress is important for improving agriculture productivity and ensuring food security. Stress in plants refer to any external or internal factor that negatively affect their growth. It can be caused by environmental conditions or living organisms. If not managed properly, plant stress can lead to reduced crop production and economic losses. So there are two types of plant stress: abiotic stress and biotic stress. First, first of all, abiotic stress. It is caused by non-living factors like extreme temperature, soil salinity, and pollution. And second one is biotic stress. It is caused by living organisms.
So your audio is not available here. We are unable to hear you. Looks like there is some glitch for sir. Meanwhile, we will take the other presenter. Shreya Wadwali, presenting the paper on the title Autoimmune Skin Diseases Detection with Enhanced Imaging, a Comprehensive Review. If you're available with us, I request you to kindly take over the presentation, please.
Hi, I'm available. Can I screen
Yes,
share?
yes, please.
Is my screen visible?
Yes, ma'am, it is visible right now.
Okay. Good morning. I am Shriya Vadavalli and I have with me Bodakala Geetika as well. We are both students of Chaitanya Bharati Institute of Technology, the Department of Computer Science. Today we'll be presenting our findings on autoimmune skin disease detection with enhanced imaging, a comprehensive review. So generally, traditional imaging, that is RGB imaging, lacks sufficient molecular and structural resolution. Essentially, they don't capture biomarkers efficiently and also cannot capture patterns effectively. So there is a dire need of using AI, that is enhanced imaging paired with deep learning techniques to better detect autoimmune skin diseases. The reason that these are so challenging is because the symptoms closely resemble that of other skin diseases as well. So because of this, there is a high chance of misdiagnosis. So for this, we've found that deep learning techniques along with enhanced image analysis would better the diagnostic efficiency. So generally, RGB images are used to detect these autoimmune skin diseases, but because of how these autoimmune diseases appear, the diagnosis differentiation can be challenging. And so we've decided to do a thorough review on autoimmune skin diseases using enhanced imaging and the current state of art that there is. So for our review, the methodology that we followed was the first thing that we did was decided that we wanted to focus on the evaluation of current research of skin diseases and cancer detection, because we weren't able to solely find enough papers to do a thorough review on autoimmune skin diseases. So we've done it on skin diseases as well as cancer detection. Then we've decided, we've come up with a question, which is what are the technical tools and the model architectures used for detecting robust skin diseases and cancer detection models. So for that, the databases that we've searched are listed here. And we've chosen these because they are the most highly referred to databases for research. And the inclusion criteria that we used was basically we wanted to go through papers related to skin diseases as well as cancer detection using imaging and deep learning. And this included all models, tools, and architectures that were developed over the years 2022 to 2024. And the study selection process. So initially when we searched, we had around 112 papers that we found. After reviewing titles, keywords, abstract, we found 31 studies that were most related to the study. From that, we found 15 papers that were ultimately the most related, and this we've done based on performance. We've come from 31 papers to 15 papers by referring to the performance metrics as well as the data set sizes used in the papers. So finally, we found these 15 papers, and based on that, we've gone through the key findings. So as you can see here, the 2022, there were 7 papers that we found, 23, 1 paper, and 24, 7 papers that we've referred to. So the first paper that we went through, just one second. The first paper that we went through, they explored 6 different pre-trained transfer learning models, of which MobileNet V2 emerged as the best model. And the second paper that we referred to, they essentially used CNN-based methods, and they focused more on autoimmune blistering skin diseases. So for that, they tried to highlight the limitations of the traditional diagnostics while also using CNN and transfer learning methods to better predict. And the third paper that we went through developed a CNN-based method for effective diagnosis. They use softmax classifiers as well as feature extraction methods. And the fourth paper that we went through, they basically used multispectral imaging for the early detection of subtle spectral variations in tissues. And they specifically did it for early screening of skin diseases. So the fifth paper that we went through, again, they use MobileNet transfer learning method, and that in their study, they found that that was the top performing model. And in the sixth paper that we went through, that they found that explainable AI framework, which classified 7 different types of skin diseases, worked the best. In the seventh paper that we had gone through, they designed a lightweighted DNN model, essentially so that they could be deployed on mobile devices. And for this, they also used YCVCR color space for enhanced outcomes. So essentially here they used enhanced imaging. And so this was a very important paper in our review. And the eighth paper that we had gone through, this was a paper wherein they added an embedded device to the mobile phones, so that they would be able to get a fluorescent image as along with a regular RGB image to better enhance the diagnostic, and also make it portable, make the diagnosis portable essentially. So this was also this paper essentially used fluorescent imaging along with using DNN to detect the disease. The ninth paper used a genetic algorithm to detect the skin diseases. And the 10th paper used SVM along with advanced filtering, and they used GrabCut for improved detection. The 11th paper used hybrid model of both MobileNet V2 as well as LSTM models to better predict the accuracy, to get a better accuracy. And the 12th paper used a hybrid of ResNet 50 and SVM. So that was what they used. And the 13th paper used, again, a mobile app for skin disease diagnosis. They used CNN specifically for this, and they used and they specifically emphasized on transfer learning for efficiency. They use ResNet 50 as well. And the 14th paper, they developed a system for early melanoma detection using fine-tuned ResNet 18 and improved accuracy and minimal computational effort. The 15th paper focused on segmentation techniques like GrabCut and noise filtering to boost the detection accuracy. So essentially, from this review, we found that there are significant advancements in using deep learning and imaging technologies. Most of these studies demonstrate the importance of fluorescent imaging, which we found pretty exciting. A few papers focused on using fluorescent imaging, but they required a separate setup in order to capture the fluorescent images. So along with that, they also used FARNet and ResNet 50. These were also pretty interesting transfer learning algorithms that the papers had used. And the current reliance on RGB imaging limits diagnosis accuracy due to its inability to detect subtle biochemical changes associated with autoimmune diseases. Fluorescent imaging offers critical insights into cellular level changes, bridging gaps in the existing methodologies. So the idea that we found from all this, we hope that the future scope to this area of research would be to focus on fluorescent imaging paired with deep learning models. And because of how exciting the fluorescent imaging is in over the past few years, and also that right now the current architecture, you're having to use an extra device or something like that to get the fluorescent imaging. Maybe using enhanced imaging, like image processing techniques, we could generate fluorescent images for better detection techniques. So these are our references. Thank you.
Okay, Shreya. So you have presented only survey, right? Only
Yes.
literature survey you have done. Yet
Yes.
you have not started your implementation or data set collections, right?
No, we've not done that in this paper. This is a review of whatever papers and existing state of art that exists in this specific field.
Okay. Through your survey part, have you just learned that how your image processing affect the model performance? Pre-processing, image pre-processing.
So there are some papers that focused specifically more on image pre-processing, and some papers focused on transfer learning methods as well. We found that the models that used these pre-processing techniques, like there was one paper that used, like we said, fluorescent imaging. They tried to use that. So similarly, they use some other papers use segmentation techniques. Like that, these papers did perform a little bit better when they were using the same CNN algorithms or something like that. But essentially, we don't think you can compare to research papers in that way, because the CNN algorithm could have been designed differently. So,
Correct.
yeah.
Any freely available data set or real-time data set, have you just a survey that part? Data
Yes,
set
yes.
collection?
Yes, ma'am. So we found a data set called DermNet. It is a publicly available data set, and most of the research papers that we've gone through as well used this. It's a quite vast data set with almost 20 to 30,000 images. So that was the most popularly used data set as well.
Okay. Okay, Shreya.
Thank you.
Thank you for presenting, ma'am. Now we'll take up on the next presenter. Our next presenter is CHGMS Teja, presenting on the title Contactless Knuckle Biometric System. If you're available, I request you to kindly take over with your presentation, please.
Yes, ma'am. I'm available. Can I
Okay.
share my screen?
Please, sir. Thank you.
Ma'am, can you please confirm whether the screen is visible or not?
Yes, sir. It is visible, sir.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. This is Teja from Chaitanya Bharati Institute of Technology, Information Technology Department. Today, I am here to present the review of the contactless knuckle biometric system. The others are myself, Teja, Manmohan, Srinidh, Shivkumar sir, Vempati Prashanti ma'am, and Govardhan Reddy sir. Coming to the introduction, let us first know what is the importance of knuckle biometric system. Although we have other biometric systems like face recognition system and also finger recognition system, and as well as iris recognition system. These three hold the majority of the portion where the authentication system arises. So as you can see, 22%, 27.5%, and 47% fingerprint recognition. So the need for the finger knuckle biometric system as follows. So basically, fingerprint and iris authentication systems are linked with most of the confidential data. For example, government, legal records, biometric templates, personal identity information, enrollment data, authentication logs, linked account information, and as follows. So our viewpoint is, as these are linked with confidential data, there is a potential chances of data breach can happen in these with these recognition systems like fingerprint, iris, and also the face recognition systems. There are several other uh, places where the non-confidential data is linked with it. So there is no need for the like authentication systems like fingerprint and iris that can be used. Instead of that, we can rely on several other biometric systems like finger knuckle biometric system or other biometric systems that should fill these gaps, uh, like attendance tracking, access control in recreational facilities, library membership verification, gym and fitness centers, etc. as follows. So these are some of the non-confidential data areas where the need for the fingerprint and iris are can be minimized, and new authentication systems can be introduced. There are several other use cases for the usage of the finger knuckle biometric system that I'm gonna discuss it later part of the PPT presentation. So here comes the abstract. This review paper focuses on the emerging potential FKP recognition as a strong modality for identity verification and authentication. Traditional biometric methods are fingerprint and iris methods, which have been adopted more than others because they can be accurate and reliable. But these techniques also bear limitations such as problem with costly equipment and vulnerability to data breaches. So unlike which can deteriorate and is vulnerable to influence over time, FKP has little change from outer conditions and therefore is an attractive solution for secure and contactless authentication. So presenting the benefit of how bringing FKP within the multimodal system compiles diverse trends of various biometric techniques under one framework and provides enhancement of the holistic method toward security. This discussion continues with research gaps among the existing literature and ends with a call for further investigation too. Moving on to motivation, our main 4 points for the like the motivation that driven us to go to this topic is limitations of the traditional biometric systems, that those are fingerprint and also iris face recognition system, and need for secure authentication, advantage of knuckle print recognition, user friendly and secure solution. Advantage first is the cost effectiveness. uh, when we come to cost effectiveness, the breakdown of the cost, that the expenditure as it follows. The hardware cost for the in I have compared FKP with iris. Even if we can compare FKP with finger biometric system also, it varies. Uh, when you compare with the iris especially, here it follows. Hardware cost 41,000, 16,600, and processing power, iris is higher, is on the higher side. Installation and integration is on the higher side, and maintenance cost is also double the amount that FKP holds. So the total amount is more than the double of the amount of FKP. uh, when we come to the second advantage, support multimodal authentication. So as when you take an example like Google, it supports multi authentication system or two-step verification process, where you need to uh, enter the password and later followed with the code that has been sent to your phone. As like that, we can also use two authentication systems, like one with the fingerprint or iris and followed by the knuckle biometric, which can increase the accuracy pretty high, which can give the accurate results. And the third one is increased security by using it for non-confidential data, as I have discussed about it earlier. Catalyst for the future innovations. Uh, FKP is not into the use or the into the real time now, but it can be used as a reliant biometric system in the near future. And this research or the review can help for the future innovations or for the future development of the FKP, that is finger knuckle print biometric system. The literature survey that we have done, uh, we have reviewed several papers, more than 20, and here are some of the main review papers that we have thought that those are more relevant to the current FKP biometric system. The first one is a biometric system design using finger knuckle biological trait. So here they have used several feature descriptors such as surf, gaze, ORB, brisk, MSER. So these are the several feature descriptors they have used and compared with the IIT Delhi dataset. There are several other datasets that are available in the internet, like PolyU dataset. The researchers that have done before this paper are based on the PolyU dataset, but this paper has done on the IIT Delhi dataset and compared with several feature descriptors, and the results are concluded based on several factors like equal error rate, decibelity index, computation cost, zero score imposure, and genuine probability, receiver operating characteristics, and detection error trade-off too. So based upon these metrics, they have concluded that surf case plays like gave the better results than ORB, brisk, and MSER, and also they have decreased the error rate when compared to the previous papers they have used for their reference, which uses the dataset from PolyU University. Now, um, we will move on to the other papers too. Here,
Excuse me, sir.
what? Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
So sorry to disturb you. However,
Okay,
you have completed the criteria of 7 minutes. I request you to kindly wind up as soon as possible, sir.
okay, ma'am. Okay, ma'am. So these are the other papers, like Ravi Verma, Sunita Sharma, which uses techniques called SVM, Gabber filters. Filters enhances feature extraction, SVM for classification. And the research gap that we have found is high computational cost in feature extraction. And the third paper uses the techniques called SURF and ANN. Combine SURF for feature extraction and ANN for pattern classification. And the research gap that we have found here is limited accuracy with low resolution images. Uh, in the first base paper that we have considered, we found the research gap that is SIFT may offer better accuracy and reliability across diverse data sets, as we have found it in the previous research papers. Coming to the conclusion, FKP is stable and reliable, cost-effective alternative, multimodal authentication, and ethical and privacy considerations should be uh, like privacy considerations are many in our country, but they have to be done on FKP and catalyst for innovation. Thank you.
Yes, good, Mr. Teja. I have few questions. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So, uh, in your FPK, okay, the
Yes, ma'am.
fusion techniques are used in the multimodal. Which different techniques are used in this multimodal biometric system? Fusion
Ma'am,
techniques.
uh, uh, like a slight correction, ma'am. Basically, this is a review paper on the research papers that we have found, and yeah, ma'am. Can you repeat the
Yeah,
question?
but in your review or in a literature survey, might be you gone through with different uh, existing all the authors that they publish no
Yes, ma'am.
different fusion
Yes, ma'am.
techniques.
Yes, ma'am.
So basically, which fusion techniques they focused? Like
Okay.
score level fusion is might be there, right? Some
Yes,
kind
ma'am.
of features may need to be fusion, right? So is anything is comes in your reading?
Uh, Basically, ma'am, the papers that we have found are relating to the one authentication system only. Like as I have discussed, multimodal authentication system, but we have not uh, came across those papers which includes multimodal authentication system.
Okay.
Yeah, ma'am.
Mm. Another one is one
Yes, ma'am.
questions that any security threats in this
Yes,
FPK
ma'am.
recognition? Yeah.
Uh, Security threats that yes, ma'am. There are some of the scenarios like FKP, like the finger knuckle, which we
Mm-hmm.
consider unique for everyone. There is
Mm-hmm.
a chance for like even for the fingerprint also. when you consider people in their older age, their fingerprints getting erased. So that's the reason we have moved on to iris. So there is a chance for the change in the folds of the finger knuckle, ma'am. So it might not happen in a shorter span, but it might happen. There is a chance that it might happen within a great gap, like 20, 30 years later. But we can find the similarity with those images also, but there is a risk in it.
How does that FPK recognize this security threat like spoofing, might be attack, right? So how does your FPK recognition recognize these things?
Sorry, ma'am.
How your system will recognize these threats, attacks like things or spoofing like things, forgery wala. Is there any reading or you have any path to avoid this type of threats, security threats?
Okay, ma'am. So basically, what we have reviewed and studied for now is like the potential threats, and also for the development of the like the improving the accuracy of the detection of finger knuckle, ma'am. We have found those potential risks, but we have not actually reviewed onto that. Like once we have started developing on that, we will go into that also, ma'am.
Yes, yes, definitely. You need to
Okay.
be add this security platform.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Teja.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, sir. Now we'll
Yes,
take up
ma'am.
on the next presenter. So you can stop the slide sharing.
Ma'am,
Thank you.
like, is there any need that we have to share in the presentation?
Sir, we would like you all to kindly stay for the last, if it is
Okay.
possible by your side.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Our next presenter, we have Kritika R presenting her paper on the title Evaluation of Substrate Materials for Insect-Fed Rectangular Patch Antenna in the Terahertz Band Electrical and Mechanical Performance Analysis. If you're available, ma'am, I request you to kindly take over with your presentation, please.
Yeah, ma'am, I'm available.
Okay,
Shall I share my screen?
please, ma'am.
So, good afternoon, everyone. I'm R. Kritika, Research Scholar under the guidance of Dr. N. Punavati, Department of ECE, NITT. My presentation title is Evaluation of Substrate Materials for Insect-Fed Rectangular Patch Antenna in the Terahertz Band, Electrical and Mechanical Performance Analysis. These are the contents of my presentation, starting with the introduction, design equation, equivalent circuit analysis, electrical and mechanical results, and interpretation of those results, and finally the conclusion and references. So starting with the introduction, I'll be presenting various substrate materials which have been evaluated for the terahertz band. So far, whatever the materials have been analyzed or for the lower frequency ranges in microwave frequency. So I have undergone this particular analysis paper in order to find out the best suitable material for the terahertz band. Here I have used the frequency range from 0.1 to 3 terahertz with a center frequency of 1.5 terahertz, which is reliable as per IEEE standard. So I have analyzed two key parameters, which are electrical parameter and mechanical stability. So coming to the overview of microstrip patch antenna, it is nothing but a radio antenna, which is actually a planar antenna, which comprises of a substrate material sandwiched between the radiating patch and the ground plane. The actual mechanism of its functioning is like along the edges of the patch, the radiation occurs, or the spurious radiation, which makes the antenna to radiate onto the atmosphere or the outer surface. This particular patch antenna has made evolution because of its low profile, lightweight and compact and flexibility nature. Also, it offers multi-band of operation. So going on to the terahertz band, this is nothing but a higher frequency band, which actually acts as a bridge between the lower frequency microwave and the higher optical or photonics domain. So this particular terahertz is a non-ionizing radiation, So it can be used in wide variety of medical application as well as in imaging applications. Also, it offers very high bandwidth, which is essential for the modern wireless communication technologies. So moving on to the substrates I have evaluated, I have considered 13 different substrate materials which are currently present in most of the literature and also in the real-time application. So these substrate materials are very well efficient for the lower frequency. So I have considered like there are n number of substrate materials available. I have confined it to 13 substrate materials which are very effective, and I have used it for the terahertz band evaluation. So first of all, I'll move on to this particular antenna design. So this is the rectangular patch antenna, which is the basic conventional antenna available in the microwave domain with an inset feeding, line feeding given. So these are the equations which I have used to design this particular microstrip patch antenna with a value of H is equal to 5 micrometer and FR is equal to 1.5 terahertz to be used as constant throughout for all the substrate materials. So these are the equations used to find the inset fed, like the Y naught, how much length it has to be across the rectangular patch antenna in order to offer the impedance matching. These are the equations I have used. And these are the parametric values obtained through those design equations with the epsilon r as the reference as of I put in the previous slide, and all the values which I have used in the analysis part. So I have used 3 different softwares for the analysis. The first software is Advanced Design System software, which is used to calculate the equivalent circuit model, HFSS and CST for the electrical and mechanical parameter analysis. Specifically, I have calculated equivalent circuit model in order to find the resonant characteristics without any losses considered. So this is the equivalent circuit model analysis. I have interpreted this particular rectangular microstrip patch antenna onto an equivalent circuit with this patch representing the RLC circuit. For any conducting plane above a dielectric represents a capacitor, which in turn gives a tuning circuit, a kind of RLC. So this is given here LP, RP and CP, and the inset feeding or the line feeding which is being fed here also gives another resonance, which is nothing but LF, RF and CF, and the slots which are being presented here for impedance matching gives L and C, where the distance between these two gaps represents the capacitor and the length along the slot represents the inductor. So I have calculated all these values CP, LP, CF, LF and so on using these formula, and the values are given here. These values are being incorporated in the circuit, and I have simulated it using the ADS software, Advanced Design System software, and the return loss plot obtained here is given below. So since the plot has n number of substrate materials, I have concluded with a table. So the polyamide substrate gives the highest return loss value, whereas the silicon dioxide giving the lowest, and Arlon dichloride 880 FR4 quartz gives the highest bandwidth of 450 GHz, and the RT duroid gives a bandwidth of 375 GHz. So I'll move on to the electrical analysis, which is being conducted by HFSS and CST software. So this is the return loss plot of HFSS and CST. From this, we could infer like the Teflon material gives the highest return loss value in HFSS, whereas the FR4 gives the highest return loss value in CST, whereas the glass and the quartz gives the lowest return loss value in HFSS and CST. Whereas this particular flame retardant food FR4 gives the highest bandwidth in both HFSS and CST, and the glass and paper gives the lowest in HFSS and CST, lowest level of bandwidth. So these are the, I have tabulated all the result parameters in a single table. So from this we can infer like the red, the parameters highlighted in red represents the highest value or the highest possible values obtained for the substrate materials, and the blue highlighted thing represents the lowest values obtained. From this figure we could infer the Teflon material gives highest gain and directivity values, that is the better radiation characteristics compared to other substrate materials. So these are the results calculated using CST, and the parameters are being tabulated here. Like in this particular table, we could infer FR4 gives the highest return loss value, whereas as of compared to HFSS result 3.2 and 5.6 for Teflon, in CST also, the same Teflon material gives the highest possibility of gain and directivity value in dB. So far, whatever I have considered is nothing but the electrical parameter analysis, and all of the existing literatures have focused on only this electrical parameters to conclude the results. But I have gone little high with the mechanical stability. There are various parameters available for this mechanical stability like stress, strain, and so on. But I have considered the flexibility of the material, like how far it can be used for any wearable application or so on. So I have considered a cylindrical bend with a bend radius of BR, which varies from 100 micrometer to 500 micrometer. And this particular same inserted rectangular patch antenna is being placed over the circumference of the cylinder in order to find the bending curvature. So for this analysis, I have used the computer simulation technology CST software. So from this table, we could infer all the substrate materials starting from Arlon diclide 880 to Teflon actually shows shift in resonant frequency. Under normal conditions, it resonates at, say for example, if I consider Arlon, under normal condition, it resonates at 1.498. But as the bend curvature increases, the resonant frequency also shift to various extent. Also, the gain and directivity parameter also varies. Like, for example, if it is normal 5.13, 6.63, whereas as the bend radius increases, the gain and directivity values also changes. In order to find, like, here from this mechanical stability analysis, we could infer all the materials are being varied. So I cannot conclude which material could be best, like which is very high consistent to the bend radius variation. So in order to find out that, I have gone for computational technique, which is like basic computational technique called the descriptive statistics with the value of sample variance, standard deviation, standard error, and the confidence level. In order to find the better suitability material, all these sample variance, sample deviation, SE, and the confidence level should be of low value. So with this frequency, like I have considered only the S11 return loss parameter or the resonant frequency, so that I have calculated those values of SD, SV, SE, and the confidence level CI. So here from this table, we could infer like the confidence interval actually tells how much, the confidence interval actually tells how much this particular variation lies within this interval. If my variation are within this interval, then I can say like that particular material is actually stable. If even one parameter is deviated from within this interval, then I can say like that particular material is not stable with the bending radii. So the highlighted parameter like FR4, glass, and polyamide has the resonant frequency which is outside the confidence interval, which actually says this particular three materials are not well suitable under mechanical stress or strain condition, so that it cannot be used for wearable application or wearable terahertz application in the higher frequency range.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yeah.
Ma'am, we have completed the 7 minutes criteria. I request you to kindly wind up as soon as possible.
Yeah, ma'am. Sure. I'll be winding. So this is the descriptive statistics. As of I told, the lowest value represents the better stability or the highest stability, and the highest value represents the lowest stability. We all know, as per material science, glass is nothing but a material which is actually brittle in nature, which cannot tend to be flexible under normal condition. So with this results, we can also infer like this is having the highest value of SE, SD, and SV, also the confidence level, representing the glass to be the lowest stable material used to be in terahertz band. So these are the interpretation of those table with high stability, moderate, and lower consistency. Arlon diclide 880, quartz, and polyamide RT duride 580, and paper gives the highest consistency and highest stability, whereas moderate consistency is being observed by Teflon, Rogers, silicon dioxide, Arlon 80, and Rogers, and the lowest consistency being FR4, polyamide, and glass. So future direction is like, so far whatever I have considered is like a single parameter of mechanical analysis. Like there are several other parameter like thermal variation, stress, strain, and so on. So these can also be considered to actually design a better suitable terahertz antenna, which is in terms of micrometer. Also, as the material science progresses, there are wide variety of materials being evolved. Say for example, earlier the microwave antenna uses copper as the conducting patch, whereas now it has gone for gold, and in future it will be going on for graphite and silicon based materials. So as of prototyping, terahertz antennas cannot be actually prototyped as of now, but in future it can be prototyped based on these techniques. With the digital based additive manufacturing gives the highest precision and reduced time prototyping. As of the conclusion, the electrical parameter analysis shows Teflon has the best material, whereas based on the mechanical parameter analysis, the Arlon Diclade 880 gives the best performance. And the material selection, if I want to conclude, it depends on the applications which we are going to use. If it is the wearable application where the flexibility is needed, we can go for Arlon Diclade 880. And if it is only for a stable material or stable circuit, Teflon could be the best material. So also the Teflon gives moderate stability, which is not very worse case than the other glass FR4 and polyamide. So this is my conclusion. And these are the references I have used. And thank you.
Okay, very good. Yeah. Very good,
Yes,
Kritika. Yeah.
yes, ma'am. Thank you.
I have some basic questions actually. Okay.
Yeah, ma'am. Sure.
So, what are the primary challenges you face means during this designing the antennas for this terahertz frequency range? Primary challenges?
Ma'am, actually the challenge is like the optimization. So as of I told now, ma'am, I have designed this particular antenna using those equations, but literally the feeding technique which I give to this particular antenna cannot be optimized in a very effective way. So I have to do so many number of iterations in order to make it resonant at that particular frequency. That is what the main challenge I have faced. Also the substrate parameter extraction, like the tangent loss, which I have given in this slide. Substrate evaluator, this tangent loss now, because it actually varies in higher frequency.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
And one more question, that what electrical parameters influence this substrate selection for this terahertz antenna?
No, ma'am, I couldn't get you.
Some electrical parameters might be comes in your implementation. So what influencing the substrate selections for this terahertz antennas?
Electrical parameter in the sense it could be gain, directivity, and efficiency, ma'am. That will be considered to find whether it is a good resonating antenna or it has a poor performance. So these are the three main parameters considered.
Okay.
Yes,
Good.
ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Any other questions, ma'am? Shall I stop sharing?
Yes, ma'am, you can stop the sharing the screen.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much for your presentation, ma'am. Now we will take up on to the next presenter. Our next presenter for the session is Aga Imran Hussain. Sir is going to be presenting his paper on the title Flying Duck Formation Energy Optimization Algorithm, FDEOA, a swarm-based algorithm to select cluster heads in wireless sensor networks. So if you're available, I request you to kindly take over the screen for presentation, please.
Yes, I'm available, ma'am.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
I'm audible?
Yes, sir, you're audible and the screen is visible, sir.
Okay. So, I'm Aga Imran Hussain. I'm assistant professor in Maharashtra University. And my is the energy efficiency of the network. For this, I have to energy optimization algorithm. So in this case, the brief background and motivation for this particular topic has to do with the energy consumption by the data centers, the network infrastructures, which is growing up daily. The internet, as you see, there is 2% or 3% of world electricity is used in some data centers. And on the internet, if you go with that, the 800 terawatt hours of the electricity has been used. And there are multiple other things like consumer devices are used, and the impact would be on the global energy related carbon dioxide emission rose by 6% in 2021 to 36.3 billion tons. So this is the background and motivation for me to choose this particular topic. What exactly the wireless sensor network? It is a decentralized network for sensors to track the environmental conditions. The key challenges for the wireless sensor networks is that they are battery running devices. So they are limited to energy due to battery constraints, and importance of the energy efficiency is that we must run these devices for a longer duration so that we can get the or fetch the data accordingly. So the optimized network longevity and reduce the power consumption is the target area. The clustering and cluster head selection play a crucial role because once you are forming these particular wireless sensor network in a way that the transmission of the data should be reduce the carbon emission or the energy consumption so that we can get the optimized network for this. So the challenges and the proposed solution would be the existing protocols like leech is there. The random channel cluster head selection lead to energy imbalance. The channel C, the leech C improves cluster head selection but lacks dynamic optimization. So in this case, my proposed solution for flying duck formation energy optimization algorithm inspired by the energy saving behaviors of the duck. So as you see, when the ducks are flying, they are forming a V shape of formation where they fly, and they changes according to the tightness of the duck of the cluster head in there. So the balances energy consumption extends network lifetimes. They can run to or longer from continent to different continent without stopping. So this is the thing which inspired my algorithm. The balances energy consumption extend network lifetime, achieves a high packet delivery ratio through the optimized cluster head selection. The first is clustering, critical of reducing power consumption, enhancing performance. If every sensor network or every wireless sensor network transmitting the data to the base station, this will uh, reduce their battery consumption. So hence we have to choose the clustering formation so that all the data has been transferred from the wireless sensors in a particular network to a cluster head selection. Cluster head will transfer to the data to the base station. For this, we use the swarm intelligence. Swarm intelligence is a nature-inspired algorithms like every addresses clustering and challenges effectively. When there are clusters or the behavior of the animals are studied and they are introduced into the technological behavior, then it is called as swarm intelligence. The benefit of FDEO, the balances energy usage, enhances the network longevity, improve all our performance of the wireless system. The related works are like leech low energy adaptive clustering hierarchy was there. The method used the probabilistic and centralized cluster head selections, but the process are the high energy efficiency and the limited scalability is there. The heat is there, but there are some advantages and disadvantages with this clustering method are there. Cluster head selection based on residual energy and base station distances, then extends the network lifetime, reduces energy usage, high overhead due to the control message exchanges. So these are the things they are related with that. So the third one is the energy efficiency unequal clustering that considers the residual energy and distance of the cluster selections. In my case, the proposed algorithm which I have proposed that it is a bio-inspired algorithm, and it mimics the sensor node behavior in the wireless sensor network. It minimizes the energy consumption and maximizes the network lifetime. The concept is that the ducks align their position and velocity to form cohesive flocks with the central leader. Apply to sensor networks, nodes detect neighbors' positions and energy levels. When there is a node which is on a lower energy side, then it will changes the cluster head, right? So adjust behavior to form the cluster efficiently. The FDO, there is some steps in it like initialization. We have to initialize like random deploy and sensor networks in the network area. Then each node is I is assigned an initial energy level. Then we compare all the energies of these sensor networks and choose the high optimal node which is having the maximum energy as a cluster heads. This is the way. The duck flocking method uses the each node I selected letter J based on the following equation. And there is the equation for the neighbor node to select, right? These are the throughput I get for the various protocols and compared with the proposed scheme. These are the results showing the alive nodes or the round nodes. The alive nodes are those nodes which still work after multiple times of transmission of data on the network, particular network. These are the dead nodes versus the rounds, and multiple rounds are there. Then there are multiple factors which impact on these, that noise in communication, harsh weather, obstacles are there. Then we have the factors like transmission errors, signal attenuation, environmental noise, energy variability, node failures, synchronization issues, and environmental dynamics and scalability challenges. These are breakdown of the computational overhead in a duck flocking model. like state update overhead, communication overhead, tool computation overhead, rendering overhead, synchronization, memory, and energy carbon overhead. The challenge in the real wireless interface is the noise interference and the environmental variability. The external factors on the data accuracy and the energy consumption. So the conclusion for this one is that FDEO is a novel swarm-based approach designed to optimize cluster head selection in wireless access network. The algorithm imitates drug flopping behavior to balance the energy consumption and extend the network lifetime. Performance comparison shows the outperforms the existing algorithm in energy efficiency, in network longevity, and packet delivery rates. WSNs using FDO are beneficial for application in environmental monitoring, healthcare, and industrial automation. Challenges with this particular algorithm is the transmission errors, energy drains, and node failures can be mitigated during using dynamic models, adaptive optimization, robust error handling for the reliable performance. These are the references I used and for my particular algorithm. And thank you.
Okay, Indra, very good presentation. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Few questions I have.
Yes.
So what are the key parameters considered in this multi-objective fitness function for selecting some cluster heads?
Like the energy, a particular energy for a particular sensor networks, like if there is if I have 100 of sensor networks, then we compare the highest joule capacity of a particular sensor node, right? So with a comparison of the energy within the particular network, we select the particular the highest the sensor network which is having the highest energy in
Okay. How do they contribute to optimizing the energy consumption in WP?
Once the sensor network is there and it wants to transmit the load, so if there is no data to transmit, they stop the transmission. And once the transmission is over, then it will switch to the another one.
This is done from my side.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for presenting. Now we will call up the next presenter. Our next presenter is Kavita Gudad, presenting on the title Optimal PRN Code Selection for High Accuracy Navigation in IRNSS L5 band. If you're available, I request you to kindly take over for the presentation, ma'am.
Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. I am available. Can you please ask someone to and share the screen? Yeah, because I'm not able to share when somebody is sharing. Just a minute, I'll share my screen.
Okay, ma'am.
I hope my screen is visible.
Yes, ma'am, it is visible.
Yeah, thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. I am Mrs. Kavita Gudad from Daran Sagar College of Engineering, Bangalore. Today I am here to present my technical paper titled Optimal PRN Code Selection for High Accuracy Navigation in IRNSS L5 band. So my paper ID is 695, and this work we have done along with my co-professor, Dr. Sudha K. My presentation goes with all these contents. First, coming to the introduction. So, exactly, I would like to start with my introduction with what is meant by a PRN sequence and what is meant by the high accuracy navigation system. So, the PRN sequence is basically a pseudo-random noise-like sequence which is used in many applications such as CDMA, then cryptography for security purpose, and also in the communication whenever it is the safety or the susceptibility to the noise is required. So these PRN sequences, as the name says, they are random in nature, and these are used in GNS applications also, which is there in my title. and this study helps us to conclude that these sequences can also be used in IRNS's future. So my presentation covers. It starts from basically M sequences, which are the very basic PRN sequences, and ends with WLSE codes, which are nothing but called as the modified Weyl codes. So, um, so coming to PRN sequence, basically a PRN sequence, as I told, it's a pseudo-random noise-like sequence, which is which is limited in its length by L, which is defined by 2 to the power n minus 1, where n is called as length of the um, shift register. Why? Because basically a PRN sequence is generated by using the concept called as feedback shift registers. They are called as linear feedback shift registers. And the feedback shift registers will be having some number of flip-flops that is called as length of the shift register. And length of a PRN sequence is always equal to the 2 to the power n minus 1, where n is number of bits or number of flip-flops in the shift register. So with this basic uh, okay. Basic concept, the PRN sequence will start, and the gold codes, which are modified versions of PRN sequences, will be obtained by by modifying the PRN sequence. And they both have some limitations. To overcome the limitations of these basic kind of PRN sequences, we have something called as Weyl sequences and the WSLC sequences, which are obtained by using the basic concept of mathematics. So we'll discuss them in detail a little bit later. So coming to the literature review, we have referred many papers. I am just taking the few which are required to conclude this particular work. So we're starting with a very basic paper, which is IEEE transaction, which is done in 1967 and 68, which was the basic for the PRN sequences and their basic properties, which put the benchmark for any new PRN sequences which are designed later. So then the other two papers, which are authored by Roshan and Raj Gopal, and also Ravi Kumar. So in that they discussed about the modified PRN sequences which exhibit the better qualities compared to the PRN sequence, and they have the better uh, uh, properties compared to the basic PRN sequences, and they can also be used in the applications. And the last paper which we referred, I've listed here, is another important paper which is used to validate the work done by us with the international standard. Sorry, with the standard. That's all, which is called as NIST, that is National Institute for Standards and Technology. So coming to M sequences, as I told you, they are generated by using a linear feedback shift registers by using something called as primitive polynomial, which helps us to find the PRN sequences. So these PRN sequences will have a length, as I already told, which is equal to 2 to the power n minus 1, where n is number of flip-flops or length of the shift register. So they are the very basic codes which exhibit the properties called as equal probability of ones and zeros, which is called as balance property. Another one is called as correlation property. There's one more called as runs property, which is not much important while evaluating the codes. So this basic property, that is the balance property, says the number of ones and number of zeros should be balanced in a PRN sequence to call it as a good random sequence. Randomness is very much important when we go for PRN sequences. And the second quality is, that is correlation properties, means which says that when you compare the signal, appearance signal, with itself, it should match highly, and when you compare with a slightly shifted version, even by a single bit version of itself, it should have the minimum match. That is how it is used in the applications like CDMA, or in any other cryptography purpose, or in spread spectrum techniques, or in GNSS systems. Uh, so these two properties are the basic properties to verify any PRN sequence which is generated newly, or which evolves newly. So the disadvantage of this basic M sequences or basic PRN sequence, which are called as M sequences, is the number of different sequences which can be obtained by a particular length n is limited because of it is generated by using a primitive polynomial. And the second limit is when you perform a cross correlation among the M sequences, um, the cross correlation exhibits peak values which are not suitable for applications when we go for the CDMA and satellite applications, because it takes large amount of power. So to overcome these two limitations, we can see how these are overcome in the next codes. This is again the same thing what I just explained. And along with the steps how to generate a gold code from the PRN code. As I told, gold code is a modified version of PRN code. So how do we obtain a gold code is considering two basic PRN codes which are obtained by the previous method LFSR. We combine the two M sequences in such a way that we get a gold code by performing a multiplication operation of one M sequence with shifted version of the other M sequence. For example, if I take A and B as two M sequences, I can take A as a fixed one, and I can take B, and I can keep multiplying A with B, then A multiplied with B shifted by 1, shifted by 2, and so on until we get all the possible shifts. So we can perform like this 2 to the power n minus 1 number of shifts. So along with these basic codes A and B, so we can get in total n plus 2 number of gold sequences by using same number of bits which was used in the M sequences. This is the advantage of gold sequences over M sequences. And the studies show that the maximum value in the cross correlation of the gold sequences lies in this particular set of values, that is -1, minus t of n, and plus t of n minus 2, where t of n is defined by this 2 to the power n plus 1 by 2 plus 1. I'll just show you an example a little bit later. So the two codes which exhibit this property exactly among the M sequences with any number of bits for a given small n number of bits are called as preferred sequences. Normally they are chosen to achieve these gold sequences from M sequences. So here I'm just shown here one example. So
Sorry to disturb you, ma'am. This is a gentle reminder, but our time period of 7 minutes criteria has been over. So I
yeah,
just request you to kindly conclude as soon as possible, ma'am.
yeah, sure. Thank you.
Thank you.
So for if n is equal to 14, we can have only 756 M sequences, whereas we can have 16,385 plus that is this plus 2 number of gold sequences, and the value of cross correlation will lie in within this value -1, -257, and 255, whereas it can go up to 2 to the power 14 minus 1 in the case of M sequences. So these are the properties, auto and cross correlation properties of M sequences, sorry, gold sequences. And this is the one which is showing the properties of gold sequence, which is truncated by some amount. For the purpose of study, we have just taken a length 10,000, sorry, um, 10,253 bits, 250 bits. So which is obtained by using this basic M sequence and truncating, it is 16,385, and truncating it by 6,153 bits. Because of this truncation, there is a small variation or deviation in the cross correlation property, but the autocorrelation property remains same as the basic M sequence. Then coming to the Weyl sequences and Siddelnikov and Weyl-like sequences, uh, these are based on the mathematical theory. Okay, so the Weyl sequences are based on the mathematical concept called as legendary symbol. So the legendary symbol is obtained by using this concept of mathematics. So it is written as -1 for any given integer x and a prime number p. So it is obtained by putting -1 for if x is a quadratic non-residue mod p, and +1 if it is quadratic residue mod p, and 0 if x is divisible by the p. So Based on this theory, so we can get the Weyl sequences by using by basic legendary symbol, and again by taking multiplication of basic legendary sequence and a shifted version of it to get the Weyl sequence. So these Weyl sequences are having the cross correlation property whose maximum value is equal to 2 root p plus 5 for a given value of p as a prime number. And that's why they are called as Weyl sequences, because this is nothing but called as Weyl classical bound of magnitude of sum of legendary symbols in mathematics. So again, to get a value of a sequence of length 10,230, so we are going to take a nearest prime number 10,223, and which lags by 7 to this. So we just add a sequence of length 7 to it, and we can get the Weyl sequence of length 10,230, which is same as our gold sequence for the comparison purpose. And this insertion of this random sequence again anywhere in between the symbols will not make much effect. So we can take any m sequence of length 7 and we can insert anywhere, so it doesn't make much difference to the original sequence of the same length. So this is the cross correlation property, sorry, autocorrelation property variation of this Weyl sequence obtained. And similarly, this shows a small variation about 30 dB, minus 30 dB by plus or minus 2 to 3 dB, that's all. So it means the insertion of the 7 length sequence to make the length, it doesn't make much difference. Coming to Sidel-Nikodym sequences, they are again obtained by using a finite field concept of mathematics. So they are obtained by using this basic mathematical concept S of t is equal to 1 if the value alpha to the power t lies in the field n, where n is obtained by this particular expression, where alpha is called as primitive element of the finite field Fpn. So again, these are again the Sidel-Nikodym sequences, which are called SLC sequences, and by again using them in the similar way as we got the Weyl sequences, we can get the WSLCE sequences. That is Weyl-like Sidel-Nikodym sequences. The same concept. Take two Sidel-Nikodym sequences, multiply them using a Sidel-Nikodym sequence and its shifted version, and get the sequence. So similarly, again here also we have a prime number, nearest prime number we have chosen is 10,223. To make the length of 10,230, we will add a length 7 sequence, and addition of the length 7 sequence is not making much difference as before.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yeah.
We have completed our 10th minute as well. I just request you please.
Yeah, 1 minute, only 1 minute I require.
Okay, ma'am.
So, yeah, thank you. And then sorry. So these results are obtained by using our mathematical processing, and these are verified also by using a standard test scenario called as NIST. So NIST test is nothing but it's a national standard provided for the testing purpose. It is used in many fields, and the one which is used here is the national NIST for cryptography applications. So here they define a p-value called as probability value. So, and we have to set a value of alpha. If the probability value of the given PRN sequence is more than the set value alpha, then it is said to be the sequence is said to have a very good randomness, which is the one which is required in the applications. So here the value of p is set as alpha is set as 0.01, which is nothing but 1 out of 100 sequences will be rejected even if they are having the good quality. So this is a result of NIST test. So where you can see in all the places the value of p value is more than 0.1. So showing the in many of the places. But you can see in the case of gold sequences there are some values where we have less than 0.1. Whereas in the case of WSLC sequences, everywhere all the test parameters are having the probability value more than sorry 0.1. So 0.01. So it means that the WSLC sequence has the best randomness property, which is compared to the earlier. And right now, what are used are the gold sequences in all the GNSS applications, and WSLC codes can be preferably used in the future applications of any GNSS systems. Thank you. These are the references I have used for preparing or doing this work and preparing this PPT. Thank you. I'm sorry for crossing the limits.
Yeah, Kavita.
Yeah, ma'am.
So I have one question. What are the key advantages of this L2 frequency band in this new IC compared to with other global satellite system,
Yeah, ma'am.
navigation satellite
Actually,
system?
the earlier the international standards provide the frequency bands to be used in GNSS systems. So the L2 frequency bands are anyway the previous frequency bands are getting over because of the more number of GNSS systems which are already designed and used here now. So L5 is the one which is the latest band which is being given to the GNSS applications, and L5 band requires the PRN sequences which are more susceptible to the noise compared to the earlier PRN sequences. So right now the PRN sequences which are used are it's still gold codes only. So in
Mhm.
future, if L5 band comes, then we can use these codes in place of gold codes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, Kavita.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your presentation, ma'am.
Yeah. Thank you.
Now we will call up the next participant for the presentation. Our next presenter is Ms. Kavita Sharma, presenting her paper on the title Remote Hardware Controlling Using Android Mobile Application, including Cloud Database Integration. Ma'am, if you're available, I request you to kindly start with your presentation, please.
Yes, ma'am, I am available. Good afternoon to all. So let me share my screen. Please confirm me whether my screen is visible.
Yes, ma'am, it is visible now.
Okay, ma'am. Sorry. Is my screen is visible?
Yes, ma'am, it is visible.
Okay, I am not able to see that. Okay, myself Kavita Sharma. Here I am presenting on the topic remote hardware controlling using Android mobile application, including cloud database integration. The other authors are Anupama Nayak, Shikha Janvi, and Professor S.R.N. Reddy. Myself from Indira Gandhi Delhi Technical University for Women's. The content of my presentation is introduction, objective of the study, existing solutions, proposed model implementation, challenges and result and discussion, conclusion, future scope. So here, these days we are looking into the different IoT applications, and they have covered almost all the areas like healthcare, agriculture, transportation, communications, and it enables the seamless connectivity between the peoples and devices. Whatever we are, it doesn't matter. We can use these IoT devices from anywhere and anytime. So it needs the cloud integration also to store the different type of data generated by the IoT applications, and the different applications, just like as we have taken few of them, that is poster monitoring system, medical record management, IoT based, or these are the different applications where we use the IoT devices. So while we need the remote monitoring and control, basically real-time remote controlling help us a lot in decision making, and we can control the different environments, just like us in the smart homes. We can control the homes sitting remotely. It provides us the safety and security also. Smart integration of IoT devices also help us a lot to improve our lives, and it also gives the better experience to the user. That's why here we need a application that remotely controls and monitors the devices uh, with a safe and secure environment. So in this application, basically we have designed and developed mobile application that will control hardware. These two While designing that application, we need where we store the data, so that there should be the integration and synchronization between that particular hardware component and our mobile application. So we we explored the literature and found that MongoDB and Firebase, the backend databases, are mostly used in IoT applications. So here, this is the proposed model. Here we have the mobile application, and these are the key components which we have implemented in our mobile application, and to controlling these hardware components. That first one is the user authentication. Here we need the user authentication so that only authorized user can access that application, and they can control the hardware remotely. Unauthorized users are not allowed to control that. And the second thing here is only one user is allowed to enter in the application at one time. Means one user can control the hardware. Multiple users are not allowed here to control that hardware at a single time. Second one was the here for prototyping, we have taken the LED controller details. Means we have interfaced instead of directly going to different sensors or other components, just like as the motors or irrigation monitoring or all these things. We have not gone directly to that. Firstly, we have taken the LEDs, and that represent the different components, different sensor components or different other components attached with the hardware. And second thing, the third thing is the system status. System status means we have here embedded that how much long time that will be activated and when that will be deactivated. That is, and the system status will be notified to the user with the help of mobile application and with the help of backend database, that is the cloud database. So here that is the application we have implemented. Means we have designed this mobile application using different mobile app software tools, just like as Android Studio, and Raspberry Pi is we have used as a development board, as it provides us the Wi-Fi connectivity also, and it provides us different pins for integration of various components, various hardware components. And for communication also is provide us different type of communication protocols, just like a serial communication, parallel communication. All these are provided by the Raspberry Pi. The model version was the Raspberry Pi 3, and we have interfaced here LED. So this is the front end for the mobile application. Here user authentication page is first. First one, there will be user have to sign up. Means registration will be there. After signing up, there are restricted users who can sign up, and after that one user can log in to activate or deactivate the hardware component. So one user will log in. After that, he will set the timers for different. Basically here LED one, we have a different set of LEDs, different signifying the task. There's a T1 for task 1, task 2, task 3, with different type of operations we want to perform. That is represented with the help of LED. And here we have put the timers, that is in the seconds. Means task 1 will be operated by 6, and task 2 will be activated by 5 seconds, and task 3 will be activated by 4 seconds, and there is no repetition. If you want the repetition, then we will put here yes. After that, we will start, and this is the backend database. Automatically that will be stored whenever we will press the start, then that will automatically goes to the backend database, and the information will be saved there. After that, accordingly, the hardware component will work. The Raspberry Pi will update its status, and here T1, T2, T3, these are the different tasks, and as per the information provided by the user via mobile application, this will be activated, and the activation information will be sent as a notification to the mobile user with the help of mobile application. So basically, this is the explanation of this. LED will be glow as per the time set by the user, and all things will go in a smooth manner, and the authentication was also proper, and in the meantime no other user will be able to disturb the processing. So here we have implemented this the application, and we have interfaced it with the mobile, with the hardware component as well, and backend database is also working very fine. So it is the user-centric approach with technical details, and it is a dynamic and adaptable data storage methods we have used here, and it supersedes the traditional approaches, and seamless app connectivity is there. So we have efficient data management, and to have the fast processing, we also maintain the frequently used data in the local storage that is provided by the Raspberry Pi. So that is also local database is also managed for fast processing of the repetitive task if there is any done by if there is any. So different challenges we faced. Basically, here we have different network connectivity, and it takes a lot of time to connect with the database, cloud database, and after that uh, to send instruction to the hardware component. So all these takes a lot of time, and we try to cover that. We try to minimize that, but basically we are unable to get it zero because there are the environmental issues. But we try to cover these network latency and processing time database operations. Basically, processing time and database operations we try to manage with the help of database, local database handling, and repetitive information storage is there in the local database, and after that, that is timely updated repetitively with the cloud database, that was the backend. So network latency, we try to embed the advanced effective communication protocols so that that can also be minimized. Predictive algorithm to foresee user instructions based on the past trends. Predictive commands processing reduces perceived latency basically, and that enables the brain execution of the commands. So this is the conclusion. Now we have used the Android mobile application we have developed, and that hardware connectivity is successfully done with Raspberry Pi with as a prototype interfacing the LEDs, different LEDs, and a series of LEDs also there. So Firebase backend connectivity is there, remote, it successfully control that hardware. It is also helpful in managing the hardware labs. This particular application is also helpful for managing the hardware labs in hard times. Hardware component flexibility is there, means we can use different type of component instead of LEDs, and we can also use different devices, just like as patient monitoring, also just type of activities we can also do with by using this application structure. And then we have explored different we can also explore different other hardwares, and it is also useful in different application areas, just like as irrigation and unmanned vehicles also they can also use this technique. Cloud database is used for remote controlling, and these are the future scopes in almost in all IoT areas we can use this tech, that is industry 4.0 IoT or advanced home automation, security, surveillance, remote patient monitoring. In almost all areas this tech can be used for advancement and ease the user life. So these are the references, and this is from all my side. If there is any question, please let me know.
Okay, okay, Kavita. So one question that how
Yes.
does this implementation of IoT system ensuring the secure and reliable data transmission?
Basically, ma'am, we have the check, and with the help of with the backend, we have the login credentials. They are mapped basically at the time of sign up. They are stored in the database, and whenever user logins there, then they are mapped with that. If there is unauthorized user, then access is not provided to that. After that, if we have also set a attribute that is for the activeness and deactiveness. If one user enters in that app, and the normal viewing is seeing if anyone is operating the hardware at a moment of time, then a second user, if there is a bit that bit set, if one is if any let's say there are 5 users and one bit is set there as 1, then other bit cannot be the 1. So in this way, we try to synchronize that operations can be performed securely and safely.
Okay, Kavita. Okay. And that is done from my side.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much for presenting, ma'am. Now we will take up our next presenter. Our next presenter is Vaishnavi Murthy, presenting on the paper titled Uncovering Hidden Risks, a Vulnerability Analysis of Advanced Controversial AI Models. If you're available with us, we request you to kindly take over the presentation part, please.
Hi, good afternoon to all. This is the co-author, Rupen. Will be presenting on her behalf.
Okay, sir. Okay, I'll just stop sharing my screen. You can
Yeah.
take over with the presentation. Thank you.
Could anyone please confirm if the screen is visible?
Yes, sir, it is visible with us. Thank you.
Okay, so a very good afternoon to everyone present here. Today, I, Dhruv Chopra, along with my teammate Rupin, under the guidance of Dr. Vaishnavi Murthy, are present here to present our research paper, Uncovering Hidden Risks, a Vulnerability Analysis of Advanced Conversational AI Models. So the whole ideology behind this paper is nowadays, since generative AI, or as we call it Gen AI, has led to some major rapid tech advancements in the field of, be it in the field of biology or computer sciences, which has led to a question of security concerns regarding its usage and whether it is safe to trust it with our data, especially in the field of cybersecurity, since because the Gen AI is openly available nowadays, and the third party research sector is quite limited in there. So the basic ideology behind this project is to conduct various different forms of cyber attacks, and using LLMs, and figure out the efficiency of different LLMs that we're using.
To sum it up, we're using the LLMs to create scripts for the cyber attacks and judging their performance based on the result of the cyber attacks. So for overview of this PPT, we have introduction, problem statement, objective methodology, result analysis, and conclusion. Next slide, please.
The introduction, as the utilization of conversational AI LLMs has rapidly spread and developed over the time, from healthcare support to education to even in our day-to-day technologies. While these developments remain vastly helpful to us, they also have a few vulnerabilities, such as hidden risk in the security and privacy, and also the risk of adversarial attacks, data leaks, or even the biggest concern is of the ethical violations against certain topics or populations. Other risks include adversarial attacks such as malicious input and outputs, the risk of data leaks, and the bias exploitation, and of course the use of these LLMs for malicious purposes. Yes, I guess screen froze.
Next slide, please.
Yeah. So this is a problem statement. The growing popularity of conversational AI like ChatGPT and Llama has raised concern about the misuse. Even though it is helpful, has always been a risk of harmful script, especially with the advent of a new technology called prompt engineering, which has allowed attackers to use and specifically engineered prompt to enable dangerous output that could possess a serious risk to our daily data, which is why we have engineered this entire project on implementing cyber attack using these LLMs and advocating for this strong security measures to ensure responsible deployment.
We're trying to bypass these security guidelines that are put in place by the developers of these LLMs in order to generate code for the cyber attacks. Can you go for next slide, Drew? Methodology. Yeah. So we've divided our project or our implementation into these four parts. For prompt technique, we're using either jailbreak or prompt engineering. For each specific cyber attack, we will be choosing from these two prompt techniques. Then we will create a specific prompt in order to generate the output that we want for the particular cyber attack. It can be jailbreak, such as do anything now prompt, which is easily available online if you do a quick Google search, or prompt engineering, where we avoid specific keywords that the developer has limited output of generation from. And then the storage, the LLM will produce a script that will store, and the implementation of the tag will be
So the basic ideology is that once you have generated the script, the attacker can use that generated script or code to execute his attack and gain unauthorized confidential access to our data. So I guess there has been some. Rupen, are you there?
Yeah, so the architecture diagram for this, we have divided into two phases. This particular presentation that we are doing is for phase 1, which has been implemented, and phase 2 is for the future works. In this, you can see that we are conducting research for 4 cyber attacks, that is DDoS, DNS, dictionary, and AI phishing. And we will research ways to bypass the guidelines. We will generate the script, then we will implement the attacks, and we will record the observation based on how well the LLM produced script worked on the attack. So this is the DDoS attack that we have produced. On in the figure 1, you can see the engineer prompt that we used on ChatGPT to produce a script for the DDoS attack. In the figure 2, you can see the script that ChatGPT produced that we have stored offline in our computer for the implementation of the attack. The attack will be implemented like as usual as the DDoS attack is implemented using Windows PowerShell, and then we will use a Wireshark tool to observe how the performance of the target has been diminished.
Now what you have in front of you is a dictionary attack, or where we have asked the LLM AI to produce a payload file that would comprise of all the given possible passwords for a user that would based on personal information. And as you can see here, once a prompt has been given, a list of possible passwords has been generated, and we are using a virtual and we are running Kali Linux on the virtual machine for anonymity purposes, or where the entire dictionary attack will be performed and executed.
So the third attack that we have implemented is DNS data exfiltration attack. In the figure 5, we have used engineered prompt. An engineered prompt to specify how the data should be exfiltrated from the target computer to our server, that is the attacker. And we have used this specific prompt into ChatGPT, which we were able to bypass security guidelines, and ChatGPT produced an output for us that is displayed in the figure 6 as a script.
Now, what you have in front of you is a implementation of the one of the most common cyber attacks, that is a phishing attack, where the attacker pretends to be a respectable organization and aims to access the personal information or implement any other particular type of cyber attack in the victim system. Over here, we have used the LLM to generate a prototype phishing email, as which you can see in the figure number 4. Now this email is further modified with few more adjustment, and it is sent to the victim, after which it creates a sense of urgency, following to which the victim most of the times provides their personal information or clicks on any malicious link that has a possible risk of uploading malicious software into the system.
So in this, you can see the data comparison that we have observed. We have taken the time that each LLM took for generation of the script, the number of lines that each LLM generated for the script. In figure 9, you can see that Meta AI has performed significantly better among all 3 LLMs except for DNS exploitation, except for dictionary attack, where ChatGPT has performed much better. So this is the type of data comparison that we have done in this research paper. Now for the next phase of our research paper, we want to do this particular data comparison, and we just want to broaden our parameters that are specific for each LLM. Next slide, please.
So our main point of view is that so far we have been focusing on the use of LLMs on the offensive side. Now, what our aim is to utilize these LLMs on the defensive side for the building of firewalls or password managers, so that we can use these LLMs not only for gaining access to confidential information, but protecting it as well.
So the future work, we have another research paper on our way to continue this work, where this is the offensive side of use of LLM for aiding cyber attacks. We want to showcase that we can use LLMs for this particular. We can also use LLMs for defense from these particular attacks. So that will be our future work. And that is all from our side. These are the references that we have used. Thank you very much to everyone present. And if you have any questions, we'll take them.
Okay, Rupin and team, very good presentation.
Thank you.
One questions for you. Okay. Let me know that what are the key challenges that you faced while preventing some gateway of like LLM, ChatGPT, okay, like ChatGPT, while enhancing that security to implement the to enhance the security purpose. How we
Uh,
prevent these things?
for prevention, we are the that is a future work part of our project. Next time we want to, for let's say, uh, for this AI phishing attack, you can just simply copy paste the mail from you have generated that you have received, and you can just ask for AI detector tool. That way you can know if the mail you have got is a AI phishing mail or is a genuine mail.
Okay, so it's a future work, right? You have not
That is a
yet
future work.
studied or not in comes in your literature survey, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, okay. No more questions.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for your presentation, sir.
Can
Now
I
we would like, yes,
can
you
I
can.
stop sharing with? Thank you,
Yes,
ma'am.
thank you, sir. Now I'd like to take up the next presenter. Our next presenter is Atma Prakash Rai, presenting the paper on the title Unleashing the Current Trends and Insights Towards Adoption of Generative AI Chatbots in Higher Education, a Bibliometric Analysis. So if you're present, I request you to kindly take over the screen for presentation, please.
Yes, I'm available here. Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon,
Please
sir.
allow me to share.
Yes,
Please
sir.
allow me to share. So whether my screen is visible?
Yes, sir, your screen is visible, sir.
Okay. So once again, good afternoon, everyone. So as the topic is already introduced by the host, so analyzing the current trends and insight towards the adoption of generative AI chatbots in higher education, a bibliometric analysis. Now, as we all know that nowadays, this because of emergence of innovations and technologies, and especially if we talk about artificial intelligence, it is being used in each and every sector to get best out of human beings. And even these technologies are aiding the organizations and the workers over there, and the productivity is also improving. So the topic here basically is technology adoption. Basically here we are dealing with how the what are the various factors that drive the acceptance and adoption of new technologies and innovation, and uh, whether what are the essential considerations for the societal expectation and contributing factors that create demand for emerging technologies, because understanding the demand for the technology is also very much essential, because there are various technologies which are very good technologies but they fade away because people don't accept it, right? So in this way, the topic which we are doing is a bibliometric analysis on the generative AI chatbots is relevant here. Now, the key research questions in the field of information system is to explore why individuals choose to accept, use, or adopt a specific innovation or technology. Now, as per the Niti Aayog is focusing on the five sectors like healthcare, agriculture, education, smart cities, infrastructure, smart mobility, and transportation, and how these technologies can basically aid, or how artificial intelligence can aid to these development in these sectors. And as per the report of Salesforce, India ranks seventh in overall AI readiness score. So it shows there's a plenty of scope of extensively using the generative AI, not only artificial intelligence, but generative AI, chatbots, and other kind of technologies into different sectors. Now, there are various studies where the chatbots are being integrated with information system to enhance the teaching and learning effectiveness. And this has it has been observed in the various research paper or literature that it has increased the efficiency, it has saved teachers time, and has offered precise feedback, so thereby benefiting both educators and the students. Now, when we're talking about there are various responses, hybrid responses related with the acceptability of generative AI chatbots, like integrity is one of the academic integrity is one of them, right? So these all things can be looked up further, but the general definition about the chatbots are given by various authors like Chang defined chatbots a group as computer programs that are capable of initiating human-like conversation to accelerate discovering, developing, and distributing knowledge. Now, there are various, when we talk about generative AI chatbots, so natural language processing, machine learning algorithms are basically the components of this generative AI chatbot. And when we talk about chatbots, it has to be replicate human-like dialogues and commonly merge chats or other related applications so that the user friendliness or user friendly connectivity can be established. Now, market size of chatbots, that is basically the relevance of the study. As per the Fortune Business Insights, the global market size of chatbots anticipated at USD 396.2 million during year 2019 and projected to get annual growth rate of 22.5% to USD 1953.3 million by end of 2027. And similarly, we can see that generative AI chatbots for educational purpose are projected to stretch a market size of $5.3 billion by year 2032. So this shows the relevance of employing generative AI chatbots in educational institutes and specifically for higher education. Now, we have depended on the bibliometric study. We have conducted a bibliometric study to understand the various themes under the generative AI chatbots adoption in higher education. So we have relied on the Ari and Kurukurulu published paper titled Bibliometrics are tool for comprehensive science mapping analysis, and we have relied on that. And based on this research paper, we have carried out we have completed this paper. And basically, the bibliometric analysis it involves statistical analysis of the written publications or written literature such as books or articles to provide insight into patterns of publication within a specific field. So our domain is adoption, technology adoption. So and we have used generative AI chatbots as a technology which we are testing over the higher education sector. Now, we have also relied on Rolia and Slack's articles conducting literature review, and this is a well-known article used for conducting a literature review. And it is basically a systematic search for and evaluate and synthesize history research. It helps us to identify gaps in the literature, develop research questions, and also help us to build a theoretical framework. And most commonly, it is used for management research also. So, Brodess has defined bibliometric analysis as a better alternative which can provide an objective, systematic, reliable, transparent, and immutable literature review technique based on the statistical dimensions of science, scientist, or scientific activity. Now, these are the five standardized stages which we have seen in which we have done in our research methodology. That is, studies, design, data collection, data analysis, data visualization, and interpretation, as suggested by Dipik and Kata 2015. And objective was to identify the major knowledge bases regarding generative AI chatbots adoption in higher education institutes, to visualize the intellectual structure amongst the major knowledge bases of generative AI chatbot adoption in higher education institutes, to examine the conceptual structure of generative AI chatbots adoption in higher education institutes, and to preview social network structure of prolific scientific community with reference to research literature around generative AI chatbot adoption in higher education institutes. We used RStudio's WCNE package for conducting bibliometric analysis. The data was collected and the stage is subdivided into three stages, namely data retrieval, data loading and converting, and data cleaning. Now, the database selection was basically we selected Scopus and Web of Science, and we choose these two databases because they are well-known databases, and the quality of publication and effective trend analysis can be done through these databases, tracking of citation and the collaboration can be established between the authors and the constructs. These databases are advanced search options which facilitate the identification of appropriate research work based on keywords, the author, publication dates, maintaining research prestige and visibility. The keywords. So the keywords basically we used for searching the literature from the databases on the 17th September to 2024. So basically, as we can see, the theory or model, and chatbot or chat GPT, generative AI, and adoption, acceptance, higher education. And based on these search, we got 198 records from Scopus and 142 results from Web of Science between 2013 and 2024. And after filtering out only the paper which was written in English language, and after removing duplicates, there were 238 records which were used for bibliometric analysis. So the main information which we got by using the BiblioShiny package is they were basically 238 scholarly works are reviewed, which was contributed by 1,344 authors, published in 350 different sources, and scientific production increased with the annual growth rate of 59.16. So as we can see, the time span 2013, that was the first time the paper was noticed, and until to 2024. Sources, authors of single author, document 24, authors, total authors were 819, keywords, authors keywords were 629, document average age is 0.513. So all these basically the main information tell us that this topic is at embryonic stage, and still lot has to be done in the research domain for this particular area, generative AI adoption, chatbot adoption in higher education.
Excuse me,
Now,
sir.
annual science.
This
Yeah.
is a gentle reminder that we have exceeded our 7 minutes criteria. I request you to
Okay.
kindly wind up as soon as possible, sir.
Okay. So annual scientific production. So the paper, first paper, it was observed in 2013, and later on, it started. We started getting papers, research papers from 2019 onwards, and after the introduction of OpenAI's Chat GPT, we can see how the research work has accelerated in the field of generative AI chatbots. Now, these are the word clouds. So, word cloud basically tells us what are the various themes on which the various research work has been carried out. So, as we can see, the entire focus here is on the students, information technology, user acceptance, chat GPT, technology acceptance models, adoption, intention, unified theory, and chatbots. And the frequencies are also given, like students 46 out of total paper 40 and 46 papers students were used, out of total paper 42 information have used for have done studies on information technology. Similarly, 36 studies have been carried out on user acceptance, 33 studies have been carried out on chat GPT, 30 studies have been carried out on technology acceptance models, and so on. Now, co-occurrence network, we have seen the linkages between the basically the constructor variables, basically higher density, small distance between nodes reflect a close association of co-occurrence. So this graphical representation provides a useful insight into the connection between crucial terms in domain of generative AI chatbot adoption in higher education. And as we can see, the clusters or the related keywords. The keywords are represented by means of clusters.
Excuse me, sir.
So, yeah.
So we have crossed the 10 minutes criteria also. So I just request you to kindly wind up as soon as possible, sir.
Okay, sure. So the most relevant sources is International Journal of Human Computer Interaction. So it has published 14 journals, 14 papers. And as per core sources by Bradford's law, again we can see the major articles were published by Education and Information Journal. Now, affiliation production over time, like Northwestern University and University of Sharjah have published the maximum papers. And this is the tree map. So tree map again shows the relevant themes. And factorial analysis, we can see that there are various factors or constructs which have been used, and these can also help us to pursue our research work further. So these all things we have discussed already. So any queries?
Yes, Mr. I have some queries because it's a very good topic. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, what are the key factors of influencing this Gen AI chatbot is used in the higher education, particularly in Indian context, from your point of view?
Ma'am, key factors here can be like the mobile internet facilities, the acceleration of use of smartphones by the students, by the teachers, right? So that is going to drive that is going to basically help the students to explore the chatbots, and also the teaching and learning is also going to be accelerated because there's going to be ample data available with the students, and that is going to make their learning easier and much interesting. It could
But
be
somewhere the traditional research or traditional way of research, some readings, okay, some in-depth reading, right? That is
right.
somewhere we are missing, no, here
Ma'am,
because of this.
but okay, that is one way. But at the same time, the see when we read books, a lot of times we read irrelevant things. But what chat GPT is helping us, it is just showing us the linkages that what all the content we can read. So instead, we are able to save a lot of time for searching unnecessary content.
Okay. One more question that how this ML and NLP, machine learning and NLP, contribute to this effectiveness of chatbot in enhancing this learning experiences, Gen AI chatbot?
Basically, ma'am, the basically machine learning and these are going to because generative AI chatbot is basically a tool which we are using, but at the background, this NLP and machine learning is working, and it is basically helping it to fetch the data from different sources, analyze the data, and put the data for the purpose of the users.
Okay, sir. Okay, Mr.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing your presentation, sir.
Thank you.
I would request our chair, ma'am. We have one more presentation left.
Okay.
Sir had already presented. Actually, the co-author is going to be presenting the presentation. With your permission, should I call up the presenter?
Yes, please.
Okay, ma'am. I call up Mr. Mohammad Arshad Iqbal. Sir is going to be presenting on the title A Review of Stress in Plants. So are you available with us?
Yes, ma'am, I am here.
Yes, sir. Kindly take over. I'll just stop sharing.
Is my screen is visible?
Yes, sir. Your screen is visible, sir.
So, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Mohammad Arshad Iqbal. Today, I am presenting a review on stress in plants. This research explores different types of plant stress, their effect, and how modern technologies like machine learning can help detect and manage stress in plants. So, like humans, plants also experience stress due to various factors. This stress can affect their growth, yield, and survival. Understanding plant stress is important for improving agriculture productivity and ensuring food security. Stress in plants refer to any external or internal factor that negatively affects their growth. It can be caused by environmental conditions or living organisms If it not managed properly, plant stress can lead to reduced crop production or economical loss. So there are two main types of plant stress: abiotic stress and biotic stress. So first one, abiotic stress. It is caused by non-living factors like drought, extreme temperature, soil salinity, and pollution. And second one is biotic stress. It is caused by living organisms such as bacteria, fungi, virus, insects, and herbivores. Both type of stress can weaken plants, make them more vulnerable to disease, and reducing their productivity. So here is the chart how they are categorized, and here is the literature review. So as you can see, there are many studies have been conducted to understand plant stress. However, the challenges remain, such as limited data on stress response, and there is a lack of integration modern technologies with their research. And more often, the traditional methods often lack of accuracy and efficiency. And there is a research challenges. Despite ongoing research and several challenges exist. One of the challenges is limited data on how plants respond to stress. There are many things research till now have done on that thing, and lack of advanced AI-based approaches for stress detection. This is another challenge, and difficulty in understanding how multiple stressors interact, and challenges in applying lab-based research to a real agriculture field. And here is the research objective: to study how plants respond for different stress conditions, different type of stress, how they respond to different conditions, and to identify key genes and pathways that help plants tolerate stress, and to develop strategies that improve plant resilience and agriculture productivity. And here comes methodology. It starts with describing biotic and abiotic constraints for plants and categorize it. When we determine these risks and at three levels of stress, low, mild, and high, the ML-based model at the center analyzes information to detect stress level and represent in percent form. The model is based on artificial intelligence setup that integrates weather information, stat images, as well to predict probable stress. This model forecasts information to perform stress forecasting, so we could look ahead and strangle predate plant with the environment info. Another visual data for what's going to be in the future. And here is the methodology diagram how it will be going. And here is the result. The research analyzed plant under different conditions. Data from healthy and stressed plants were compared, showing clear difference. As you can see, there is a clear difference in both control and stress category of plant. And these are the this is the correlation matrix of plant stress data. Here we conduct plant height, leaf area, many parameters of plants, and here is the plant area, and we do this review on potato plant, and this is its data. And in conclusion, understanding plant stress is crucial for improving agriculture and ensuring food security. While traditional methods have provided valuable insight, advanced technologies like AI, machine learning can greatly enhance stress detection and management. With further research, we can develop better solutions to improve plant health and crop resilience. And these are the references. Thank you for the time and attention.
Okay, Mohammed, I have one question. What are the advantages of by using this hyperspectral imaging over this traditional RGB image for detecting some abiotic stress in the plant?
So in this hyperspectral imaging, we take a leaf on some flat surface or anything, and we pass wave of different wavelengths. So on this, we record that data, and we take a leaf or different type of plant like in different type of stress, and for every condition it reflects different amount of wavelength. And by this method we can detect what type of stress this plant is having, and according to that we can take necessary actions.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, that's done from my side.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah.
Thank you so
Can I
much.
leave? Can I leave?
So I request you to kindly be there for the last snapshot.
Okay, ma'am.
You can stop sharing, sir.
Okay.
Thank you. I sincerely thank our authors for their excellent presentation and contribution in this session, and all our participants for being a part of this international conference. I hope this session was informative enough. We, on behalf of the whole team, thank you for the support during this 9th version and all the 8 previous versions of this conference. We will be happy to have you in the 10th version in 2026. All the presenters would be getting their digital certificates through email within 2 working days. Further, all the papers have already been forwarded to the Springer. The publication will be live within 6 months. Kindly cooperate with the team of SMARTCOM 2025. I would also like to thank our session chair, Ms. Disha, Dr. Disha. Let me present the certificate for you, ma'am. Thank you for your valuable presence, ma'am, for chairing our session. This is a token of appreciation from behalf of SMARTCOM 2025 and Global Knowledge Research Foundation and
Thank
partners.
you.
Thank you so much. I would like to request all of you all to kindly please switch on your cameras for a quick snapshot of this virtual session, please. Allow me a moment. Thank you so much. We'll meet in the next conference in 2026. All are requested to kindly log out the session. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you all.